There you go.
Oh, hey, Will.
Hey, check this out. Here's the situation. Say you out with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You know, you're at school, you at a club or something, getting busy.
Yeah.
All right, you're just having fun. Somebody steps up to you and they tell you they want to rumble.
Oh.
All right, now just stop for a second. Before you lose your head, get all crazy and toss your hands up, just think. The person that uses their head can always defeat the person that's just trying to use their hands. Now remember that, because the more you know.
Hold up. Wait 1 second. Thank you, up-and-coming actor Will Smith. I want to just add on to your 80s PSA here. Have you ever recorded 2 hours of a podcast about a 90-minute movie and spent the entire time mispronouncing the word Comanche, saying things like
Comanche.
Or Comanche. Or
Comanche.
Or the Comanche. Or
Comanche.
Or Comanche. Comanche? Is that how they... Is that the what's the proper pronunciation?
It's too late for us to correct the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Just say what you think.
So to me, the Comanche, like, almost had it there. Well, I'm sure you're very sorry, but next time, if you think you're mispronouncing a word, why not just do literally any amount of research to see if you're pronouncing it correctly? You can always just remember that you have literally all the time you need before you record this podcast to make sure that you get these words right. So, remember
that, because the more you know.
You're tall, but I'm standing in front of you.
It's a podcast.
Welcome to You're Tall, but I'm Standing in Front of You, the podcast about having a good time at the movies. It's our second season. We're out of the detritus. We're just all about having a good time now. I'm Devin.
I'm Ethan.
How's it going, buddy?
Well, you know how it is, just having a good time.
Absolutely. The vibes are immaculate. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
My dog is having a good time. He's humping his bed. He humps his bed like you can set your watch to it. If the podcast recording starts, he immediately he hasn't done it all day. There we go.
He's getting into it.
Yeah, but we've had a long season break, and we're back with kind of a I think an appropriate movie to start our second season with.
Yeah.
Dan Trachtenberg,
friend of the show.
Pod.
Yeah.
His new film just came out. It's on Hulu, I believe.
Hulu exclusive.
I watch things illegally. But with Prey, which is the latest movie in the Predator franchise.
Yeah, and I have watched every single Predator film, except for the ones that aren't Predator and Prey. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I've got a pretty good reading of the franchise. We've been saying since very early on in this podcast that we're really excited for Dan and this film that he's been able to produce. We knew very early on that Dan was going to make a phenomenal entry into the Predator expanded universe.
Yeah, there are no recordings of me on the internet saying that this was going to be a disaster. You can't find them.
No. All right, so we have watched Prey, which is the newest installment in the Predator franchise, which I think has 17 films in it now.
That's true.
And I really hope not. But we've been talking this up since one of our first episodes where we talked about Dan Trachtenberg, and he was hyping up that this was going to be either the best or the second best Predator film that has ever been made.
Originally called Skulls.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't go with our suggestion of I'm with Predator. So they made some bold choices. And the time has finally come that we're going to review this film, Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, like right off the bat, the Predator lands at the start of the film. The ships like drop off the Predator. He's like, I'm a Predator. Here I am. Boom, done. We're going. You know, doesn't spend a ton of time on it. We're like, we're rolling. Okay. They start to notice in the native community that like shit is amiss. The Naru character notices there's like a skinned snake. She's like, that's sort of fucked up. That's not something that the mountain lion would not skin a snake and leave it there. So she's picking up because to me, like one of her greatest strengths is she's a tracker, you know, so she notices very fine details, and she's noticing like this is something interesting that doesn't quite track with what you all are saying, which is like, oh, there's a mountain lion out and about. She notices the footprints that are like really huge. She's like, this does not track with a mountain lion or a grizzly bear. This is something different.
Why'd you come back?
I found tracks, and they were huge.
I'm not frightened by a bear.
I don't think it was a bear.
So she very early on saying like something's going on here. She goes out to help. Like one of the tribesmen has like disappeared, and they had to go find him, and they do find him. He's been like really fucked up by the lion. She saves him by using medicine because she knows about the various plants that she can give to this person so he doesn't die. But she also says like something scared off that mountain lion. The reason why he's still alive, you just scraped really bad by the mountain lion, is because something drove it off. So she's very observant of the environment around her.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because like when they're gonna go on this journey to try to rescue this member of the tribe, a bunch of the dudes don't want her to come along, right? Because they're like, she's not a hunter. And I'm like, clearly these dudes don't know anything about putting together a balanced party. Like they have not played like Final Fantasy 11 or something. You know, it's like,
yeah,
like the brother literally points out like she can track and she can heal, right? Like it's like, oh yeah, like we actually need, you know, we need like multiple skills.
Yeah, like Tabi has very clearly been in a well-rounded D&D party. Like he understands that you need to have that balance of attributes. I know, Devin, you and I have played Dungeons and Dragons before, so we understand that going into this. But yes, some of the members of the tribe don't understand that importance.
In case any listeners for some reason thought we were cool, we have played.
Let us reassure you that we are very cool.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you want to know how cool I am? I literally printed out, like from my printer on paper, a list of every boss in Elden Ring, and then with a pen crossed out all the ones I've killed, and I am now going through and killing the like 30 remaining bosses that I haven't killed yet.
How much time did it take you to cross off both of those bosses you killed?
Buddy, I've killed some bosses, let me tell you.
Okay.
I'm level 175, all right? So
that sounds like a big number.
Yeah.
That's 3 digits.
That is
10. As
we will find out later in the episode, that is a huge number, especially of people to find one of your reviews helpful on Google. So
yeah. So anyways, you know, they're hunting this mountain lion. She has this whole idea like, I want to track it down, and her brother agrees like, actually, let's let her help us. We'll track it down. We'll let it come to us. We'll hunt it. I think the one guy has the line about like, if you're a hunter,
we get some bait and climb up and wait for it.
A hunter doesn't wait. He hunts. Like a beer all night.
This is absurd. This is what hunters do.
This guy's
hunting is you like 90% of hunting is waiting. Like
yeah.
I mean,
My understanding is hunting it's 90% like drinking beer at the cabin.
Yeah.
Maybe like 70% because 25% is then sitting in the like hunting platform waiting for anything to stroll by, and then 5% is shooting and missing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is where, like, if I'm gonna be critical of the movie, I'm like, this does seem like a weird, like, kind of pastiche of indigenous culture, kind of conforming it into sort of like contemporary gender roles, where it's like, I have a hard time believing the other Comanche would be like that ignorant about the importance of like tracking.
Right. Yeah.
The movie needs to have, what it is, it needs to have it's for, so I'm pretty forgiving of it because the movie nails everything. But if I was gonna give it some shit, that's where I would have some questions, but would really want to know more about like, okay, like someone that actually knows historically, about this period and these specific people, how accurate is this? Because I don't want to claim like I know anything about that.
Sure, yeah. And I'd love to chat about just like how the Comanche operate later on once we get to like when they're actually fighting the predator. But spoiler alert. But she essentially sets up this fight against the mountain lion. She is fighting it. She's on top of a tree fighting it. She like throws a spear at it, but then she falls off a tree branch and gets knocked unconscious. She wakes up back in the village. Her brother shows up with the head of the mountain lion. Essentially like, I was able to do it because you fell off the tree and you weren't able to finish the job. I think he has the exact line of like, you couldn't bring it home. So the brother gets a celebratory like leader of the hunt. I don't know what the exact.
He gets named like War Chief.
So he gets named. Yeah, he gets named War Chief. It's because like he hunted this mountain lion that had like mauled one of the tribe members, and it's like a celebratory act. Great. The main character Naru, she's like, I'm gonna like I know that there's shit going on that isn't the mountain lion. Like when she was hunting the mountain lion, she saw like the red predator laser shit's going off in the background. She's like, something's going on here. So I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna hunt whatever this thing is. And this is gonna be also my moment to like prove that I can hunt prey, that I can do this thing. And I'm gonna like we see all the village members going off to like collect water and food and whatever in the morning. She goes in the opposite direction. It's like, I'm going to head off into the wilderness. I'm going to hunt this prey and I'm going to prove myself. And I'm also going to like get rid of this threat to the village.
And it makes sense in this film why she can't explain it fully to the other members of the tribe, right? Because this actually is something that is sort of like beyond explanation. Like there aren't like when she's trying to describe the ship, she compares it to a thunderbird, right? She has to refer to like indigenous mythologies to make sense of it, right? Whereas like, it's weird that the guys in the original Predator were never like, it's kind of like we're fighting something from a science fiction movie, they actually did have they actually had access to that kind of like cultural language to explain this, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
She sets off with her dog, man. Do not erase the dog.
Right. I know you're a big fan of the dog, Devin.
Best part of the movie is this dog. Sorry.
Yeah. So she goes off with her dog to go hunt whatever this creature is that is out there. A lot happens. I don't want to like spend too long on this. You can watch the film if you want to, but she goes through various trials and tribulations. She's I think like the parallel as she's like trying to figure out what's going on is like the predator is hunting increasingly bigger prey.
It's actually it's very funny. It's like he's a little ham-fisted. It's like, I'm gonna kill a snake, and it's like we're supposed to be impressed that you killed a snake when you're like invisible.
You know what? Okay. First off, fuck off. You're from this planet. You don't know that a snake is not the apex predator on Earth. Like, it sees the snake killing a mouse. It's like, oh, you did the predator thing, so I'm going to kill you. That's its first thing. It skins the snake. Then it goes...
Keep encountering.
Then it hunts a wolf. The wolf is hunting a hare. And it's like, oh, I see you hunting this, so I'm going to hunt you. Then it hunts the bear. And that...
wolf scene.
What?
I didn't like the wolf scene because a wolf is kind of like a dog, so that was upsetting.
Okay. And then the next scene is the predators hunting the bear because the bear is literally hunting Naru, the main character, is like coming after her. So the predator's like, "Oh, you're a hunter? I'm fucking better than you. I'm gonna fucking kill you." He gives it like a fucking upper hand. It's like,
I'm just like, I would like to think that the predator that has the technology to get across time and space can be like, the snake is a little beneath me. I don't need to be like, and like, if you're gonna fight the snake, handicap yourself a little. Like, don't use the fucking invisibility.
It literally has no appendages.
Yeah, like, you know, like if
fair.
you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna use, because I also have snake-like fangs and shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tie my arms behind my back and turn off my invisibility cloak and prove I can still take out the snake. I would be impressed. But I do think, the predator to me is basically like, the predator is not cool. The predator is like one of these fuckheads that goes to Africa to do big game hunting or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
This is an asshole.
Yes.
It's just like he's from a culture in that has given him access to a lot of fucking bullshit. Like,
yeah, although it's interesting because he's slightly better than the assholes from that culture that do go on that big game hunting, because he has a code where he's like, I'm only gonna hunt the things that are predators to other prey. He's not like, look, I can shoot 30 buffalo, I can kill all this gazelle. Like, he only is killing things that are hunting other things.
That is
so he's actually better than those shitty hunters. He's better than Donald Trump Jr.
Fair. That is completely fair.
So
yeah,
and that's where she first sees the predators. She's getting chased by a bear. The bear is like almost gonna get her. Her dog is okay, although the dog is also involved in this bear fight.
The dog is so badass. The dog literally chases the bear into the woods.
The dog knows what it's doing.
Are they gonna kill the dog? And the dog just runs out. And just like, spoiler alert, but my favorite part of this movie is that it's not just that the dog doesn't die. The movie never even really makes you think the dog's gonna die. Like, it doesn't exploit the dog in that way for like fuck Wes Anderson. Like, Wes Anderson kills a pet in every one of his movies. And it's gotten to this point where he's just like, that's a thing I do, so I have to keep doing it. Because he's like a twisted whatever the fuck's going on in his head, where he's like,
we took a 90-degree turn there. Okay.
And I need to kill a pet.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie's just like, no, this dog is only here to be fucking cool as hell. It's an awesome dog.
Yeah.
And it is so brave, and it just does a good job the entire movie.
Sure.
Like, I literally cried in this movie during this movie because of Sari. Because Sari just kept doing such a good job that it made me very emotional.
Yeah. So I mean, she's fighting this bear with the help of her dog, and the predator just fucks up the bear. That's where she first sees the predator.
This is like something that is beyond comprehension, right? This is like an episteme shift.
Right. So she runs away from this whole circumstance. She runs into a field where there are just dozens of buffalo that have been skinned.
Horrifying shot.
Yeah. The idea being like, oh, the predator has literally just like skinned dozens of animals. Gross, horrifying, like leaves all the meat, like just like takes the skin and
the film has shown you like this is what the predator does. He kills things and he sees them. So you're like, oh, that's what's going on with these fights, is what you're thinking.
Yeah. So she runs into some of her like tribesmen who have been looking for her. I will say the Comanche like actually do a pretty good job of dealing with the predator, given that they have no idea what the fuck this is. Like they stab it multiple times. They like stab it through the foot. They die, but like they do a not terrible job as they're all getting slaughtered.
Points off, which like you compare it to like Predator 1, where it's like Jesse the Body Ventura has he got in the minigun, like the minigun's just trying to roll up, basically. He's trying to get it going. They do a nice job. And
I think there's an interesting contrast in that in Predator 1 they're just these hyper masculine dudes doing their own thing individually versus the Comanche who are like, oh, we're going to work together to try and stop whatever the fuck this is, which we have no idea what the fuck's going on here. We have no idea what this could possibly be as compared to the Predator 1. We're like, oh, it's maybe like an advanced
the Soviets.
Yeah, it's the Soviets.
And the Predator group, like they start very clearly as a party, right? Like we were talking about like video game, you put together a balanced party before, but they very much are like, it's both like, as we talked about, like it's trying to do this thing where we have like someone of each like race and creed and stuff, but also it's like we have the guy with the minigun and we have the guy that's good at tracking and blah blah blah, but like they all just go and they're like, I'm going to try to defeat the Predator by tracking, right? It's like I'm going to try to do their own thing. Predator by minigun, right? Like, it doesn't work.
At least the Comanche all work together, so it fails, but like they do some damage on the Predator, and she runs away and gets like caught in a bear trap, which is like by the like the Predator walks up on her, but then like backs off because he realizes like, oh shit, is she actually prey? Because who wanders up on that scene? La France.
French. And I gotta say, this to me is like one of the master strokes of this movie.
Yeah,
it's such a smart decision
to have the French,
to do the French, because one, it's the funniest possible option. It's like, are we gonna do the French, the Spanish, or the British? Like the French by far the funniest. And then it also allows the film to do this thing where it's like, when you're not watching the Comanche dub, English just is Comanche.
Yeah.
So like the French speak French and it is not subtitled, which I think is great because it's like Naru's perspective. So it's like you understand what she says. You only understand the French guy when he speaks English because he's actually a translator. So the idea is Comanche, that works great. And then it also sort of, maybe somewhat cowardly, but it avoids some bigger problems it would have to confront politically because just everyone can laugh at the French. Because, like, what the fuck's going on here? They're just like, they see the Predator and they're just like, sacre bleu. Like,
oh, merde. Yeah, so we've got the French. I like to refer to this as le petit segment français. We've got like they show up out of nowhere. My wife mentioned how like some of their movements even kind of mimic the Predator, and they're very kind of animalistic in how they like move from side to side. You've got like that French trapper that is very kind of animalistic in how he is moving.
The like the head Frenchman, the performance is actually another great performance because like the way I would describe him to the listeners is he's like if like Gerard Depardieu hasn't had a baguette in like 6 months, and he's just like fucking like shifting on his feet all the time, and he's just like muttering French stuff, and he's just like, I need some fucking baguette. What the fuck is going on?
That is a very apt description. And this guy, so he wants to probably fuck around with Naru, the main character who's now been captured by the Frenchmen, but everyone's like, no, she's bait. Also, her brother is bait. And then they have this big scene where Naru and her brother are bait. And they're all sitting there, they got all their horses, and they're like, we've got our muskets, we're gonna fuck up this Predator that they've clearly also encountered. They're aware that something fucked up is happening, and the Predator just demolishes them. So they're entirely fucked. Like, it's a long sequence, and it's fun. How fucked up
I mean, you gotta watch it to see it. Gerard Depardieu, who by the way isn't actually played by Gerard Depardieu, does get away. Which I think it's hilarious how he gets away, which he gets away in the most French way possible, which is just like the other French dudes are all ogling one of like the Predator's like bombs that's clearly going to explode or whatever. But like, I guess like they live in an era before things beeped, so they don't know what that means. But Gerard Depardieu is clearly like, the beeping's getting faster, and he just like literally backs away into saving something.
Yeah. Yeah, so all the Frenchmen get fucked up. The Comanche, which is Naru and her brother, who are set up as bait, survive because like they're not predators, they're prey in that situation. They're tied up against a tree. But they free themselves. Naru has that one great line of like, I've seen a beaver like gnaw its own leg off to get out of things, and the brother's like,
Naru, stop!
I'm smarter than a beaver.
God damn it. I'm not going to gnaw my arm off. Good. We're free. Great. So they get out. She goes back to the French camp, and she fucks shit up. Some random Frenchman comes back. It's the guy who originally found her when she was captured. Was like, hey, I speak Comanche as well, which in the main dub is actually just English. We're all friends here. He comes out. He's like, listen, here's how to use my flintlock pistol. Can you heal me using your medicine? And she's like, okay. So he teaches her how to use the pistol. Yeah. She heals his leg that had been cut off by the predator. And then she gives him the like medicine that makes his extremities go cold.
Yeah, this has been previously established when they're healing the hunter, but like there's this like flour they use that makes your body temperature go down.
Yeah, so his body temperature goes down, so then the predator suddenly shows up but doesn't see him because he's cold, but then figures it out because
he's like in thermal vision.
Yeah, and he sees the blood going to his stomach. He's like, oh, this guy is probably alive. So he kills him, but she realizes...
No. It's that he steps on his foot, or he steps on his leg.
And he goes, ah!
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but like, he realizes this guy is alive and kills him, but she is watching and be like, oh, because he's cold, the predator can't see him. So this mask this dude is wearing is important.
And this is of course, we remember in Predator 1, Arnold Schwarzenegger realizes this and covers his body with mud.
Yeah. So which is a good fake out. There's an earlier scene where she falls into some quicksand and you think, oh, she's getting all covered in that so the predator won't be able to see her, but then they don't do that. So that's nice.
No, it's because she actually knows what she's doing, unlike Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's just like, I don't know. I could cover myself in mud. Yeah. And that works because the predator is somehow even dumber than him.
Yeah. So anyways, her brother comes to rescue her as the predator is now suddenly in the French camp. And the brother's like, oh, the brother first off, like, does some good damage on the predator. Good on him. Like, he clearly knows.
We're talking like the party did some good damage before. And something I do like about this movie is like the predator doesn't like reset. Like, he accumulates damage throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But like, you know, a really like legit, like a much cooler than anything we see in Predator 1 in terms of like,
the brother is far better at doing damage on the predator than Jesse the Ace Ventura ever was.
Yeah, it's like a similar scene where it's like, you know, it's an important character going out trying to like do some damage to the predator. In that, it's kind of analogous to Carl Weathers when he's kind of like a little bit maybe on a suicide mission or whatever. Right. Except that he actually doesn't suck ass. So like, he does some really cool shit.
Yeah, but he does realize eventually, like,
run, Naru. It thinks I'm the threat. This is as far as I go. No more. This is it.
No.
Bring it home.
So she does get the fuck out of there. Her brother dies, sacrifices himself, gets killed by the predator, and she nopes the fuck out of there because she doesn't want to get killed immediately. Yeah, so he's competent, but he gets killed by the predator. She runs off. She lives to fight another day. And then we get to what's going to be her versus the predator, but you have this brief aside where Gerard Depardieu shows up. He's like getting water because he escaped.
Washing his face.
Yeah, and she knocks him out, and then she essentially sets him up as a trap. And that's the last of the Frenchman. they're all done after that. He
Yeah.
kills the Frenchman, but then she's like, "Oh, you thought that the Frenchmen were your only prey on Earth? You're about to learn a valuable lesson about Earth. It's not just the Frenchman." She shoots
In fact,
the
the
Predator.
Frenchmen are among the least you have to worry about.
Yeah. If only the Predator knew. She shoots the Predator in the back of its goddamn head with the pistol that she had learned how to use from Red, a Frenchman who dies earlier. And the mask falls off the Predator. She grabs it. She's like, fuck this. I'm out. She grabs it. She runs. And the Predator's like, oh, fuck, I've been shot in the face. This sucks. What happened?
And she has a very high equip load, so she can carry that mask, but she can still she's still at medium load. She can still do her full rolls with her invincibility frames.
Yeah. But you have this whole thing of they're prey in all these situations. And she proves, like, actually, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm surviving as I need to. And when the time is right, I'm going to fuck you up. Yeah. So she does that.
And, like, we don't need to go into the details of how she fucks him up. You really should watch the movie because I think that's where a lot of its magic is.
Yeah. She kills the Predator using his own goddamn weapon. So fuck you, Predator. And then she walks back to her village with the head of the Predator, the severed head of the Predator, being like,
There's danger nearby. We need to move to easier protected ground.
look, I did this thing, so now I'm the war chief. And the chief is
Andrew,
like, yeah, you sure are. What is this? I don't even know what this is, but I have no rebuttal to this. Sure, yes, you are. End of film. So we're huge fans of Dan on this pod, and we've made that clear from very early on. We knew he'd do a great service to this film, but you know who didn't do a great service to the Predator franchise, Devin?
Who?
This podcast. We have, our very first episode was on Predator.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think our general synopsis was like, we're all kind of rooting for these people to die because they're these American commandos just invading a foreign country. Mm-hmm. So we're like, oh, it'd be fine if they all die. So when they start to all die, we're like, that's fine. And
I stand by that take.
Yeah, no, as do I. However, got a lot of flack for that take because also that was the only episode any of my friends listened to.
Yeah.
It was a one and done. They heard that like, oh, this I don't much care for this. And I think one of the biggest criticisms I was like, well, did you think about how it's sort of like the Vietnam War?
Mm-hmm. Well, whenever I think, when I see a filmic depiction of American commandos invading Latin America,
mm-hmm.
I immediately need to reach for, real historical conflicts to make analogies to, because obviously that would never happen, So, this has to be a metaphor for Vietnam or,
right.
The Bataan Death March or something.
You could make the analogy in that the commandos were entirely out of their element and mostly just got slaughtered by the end of it. And didn't really achieve whatever goal they were sent there to achieve. of which they were lied to. They were lied to about what their goal was. So I think like you could make analogies, probably not in the way that my friend from Central PA intended.
One that's like, this is a similar time where you've got like the Rambo movies and stuff. Like, this is something like, this is this like chip on the shoulder that action movies have of like the horror of the Vietnam War was like, the troops weren't respected enough.
Yeah.
That very rarely has any concern for the actual Vietnamese people or any actual understanding of why the Vietnam War was a doomed project. But I guess we could have talked about it more.
Yeah.
But also, not to make too fine a point on this, but like we're not exactly dealing with like ignorant drafted folks in Predator, right? these are career like special services, like fucking Green Beret commando types, right? Like these guys know what they do for a living.
Yeah.
They don't know like, maybe the geopolitical details always, but they know what ultimate project they're serving, right?
Yes. And that brings us to Prey, which really turns that original film on its head in a way that, some folks are probably not too happy about. Other folks are like, cool, we've got a new thing. That's always nice. It's always nice to have a new thing. And I think to start things off, Devin, I have a new segment I'd like to introduce.
Okay.
This is a segment that I call Vox Populi. If there's one thing we respect more than anything else on this podcast, it's the voice of the people.
Yes.
We screen IMDb, Rotten Tomato reviews before we do our podcast to make sure that anything we say is in line with the voice of the people, because that's how you get the clicks.
Yeah, you can go back and listen to any episode of this podcast and do the math on what number of minutes in the podcast we were positive about the film V negative. And divide that by the total number of minutes, it will precisely correspond to the Rotten Tomato audience score.
Yeah.
Every time, because we don't care about the critics.
So, Devin, for this new segment, I think it's important to, what's a phrase that they say, like, the most popular horse is always the winner. That's what they say.
That's the most Trumpian thing you've ever said.
Anyways, so what I've done, Devin, is I've collected 3 different reviews from the Google
reviews, where I always go to find out about movies.
Now, I've got 3 reviews for you, Devin, here. One is a 1-star review, one is a 3-star review, and one is a 5-star review. I can also tell you a few more things about these reviews. And what I want you to do is I want you to guess. Google says like how many people found this helpful, like how many people clicked like this was helpful. Yeah. Which of these reviews matches with this number of people? So one of the reviews had 163 people find it helpful. One of them had 111 people find it helpful. And one of them had 6 people find it helpful.
All right.
Okay.
I just gotta say, like, who needs help deciding whether or not to watch Prey? It's on fucking Hulu. It's 100 minutes or something. How much time are we spending making this decision?
There are so many episodes of Ms. Marvel that I need to watch on Disney Plus to get caught up on. Like, do I have the time to watch Prey?
Yeah.
We'll see. We've got a few reviews. You ready for the first one?
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, just to remind you, 163 people, 111 people, and 6 people. All right. The first review contains spoilers. The reviewer said that. As a franchise fan, I really liked the movie, but I found it a little illogical in a few scenes. When the Predator was fighting French colonists, he was such a badass, ripping all of them apart. but he couldn't handle a Native American girl? I mean, didn't he have anything up his sleeve that would plot twist things a bit? She basically didn't get a scratch from a monster, and she seemed too superior over an intergalactic hunter. Then this scene when the girl went to take her dog and axe from French colonist camp, she got attacked by those French folks and basically teared them to pieces. No rolling on the grass and fighting to the last breath. It seems strange because when a lion attacked her on a tree, she fell on the ground and lost consciousness, making her look quite fragile. And then when it came to fight colonists, she was superior, like John Wick from a forest. So there could be a bit more scaling up or something introduced in between. Why did the girl cut the French colonist leader's leg? She said it's because they caught her brother. But, I mean, really, why just cut the leg?
It's very obvious why she did that.
Why to just cut the leg? And how she thought in advance to use it for bait.
How is Babby formed?
Maybe she could just be cutting French slowly while he was tied by a tree to get Predator's attention with screams, as it would have looked like she, quote, caught her prey. That, I guess, makes more sense. A little other thing to mention was the language. Why indigenous Native Americans use their own language words?
What the fuck?
Why indigenous Native Americans use their own language words for naming rituals and practices, but then again spoke pure English? Meanwhile, colonists were speaking pure French. Maybe all of them could just speak English to resolve this language assignment for different groups.
They definitely didn't think of that.
Overall, it's an okay watch, bearable, but lots of those why were coming up for me. So I can't give it more than 1 star, as these new creators degraded Predator's lore continuity, which is not acceptable for many fans.
Man, I gotta say, when you started, I thought it was gonna be the 3-star review because it started like I enjoyed the film, but I had a few reservations, and then it just went into this like Unabomber manifesto. Like, so a few notes on that review. One, like I'm so befuddled. Why is the film not translating these very specific Comanche words that refer to specific rituals? Like. What the fuck would you translate them as?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that doesn't make any sense. But also, like, my favorite part of this review is that this review thinks so highly of the French. Because it's like, well, like she injured but like didn't defeat a lion.
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously the French should have been like mopping the floor with her. Like, what is this like hierarchy in which the French are like so much more powerful than a lion? Like the lion is obviously more dangerous than the French. These French guys are complete idiots. Like, how dumb do you have to be to not figure out that what the film's doing is just that like Comanche is English in the film, which is why the French isn't translated. Like,
right. So, Devin, before we give your rating, because I want to do a summary at the end before I tell you the reality of the scores. How would you name, if you could summarize this review? How would you summarize this review? What's the name of this review?
This is the Why No Translating review.
All right, Why No Translating review. Did it have 163 people that found it helpful? 111 people that found it helpful? Or 6 people that found it helpful?
I want it to be 6, but I feel like the world we live in is too terrible where it has to be more than 6. I don't want it to be the highest, so I'm going to say 111 for now.
111. Okay. All right, Devin. Second review. Honestly, I don't like watching action movies, and I only watch horror movies all the time.
I only watch horror movies all the time.
Yeah. Okay. This movie, I think it deserves an award for the, quote, best action movie of the year because it's unique and it's not like anything I've ever seen before. At first, I hesitated and not interested at the time it was released because I knew it's action genre and I don't like it because there's no realism in terms of movement.
It's been out for 3 days.
Listen, no, but the action genre, this person says, in terms of movement, there's no realism, okay? No realism in terms of movement. But then I still came up with an idea of watching the trailer. Then it teased me and really made me say, wow. Because it's my first time to see action movies that has realism in movements. Like, the movie don't have flying scenes or any unrealistic movements happened. And that's what I like about to this movie. Not only because of that, but also it includes a lot of genre that I love, like horror, thriller, survival, and sci-fi. The film itself...
I thought you only watched horror movies all the time.
But they like other genres, Devin.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Right. The film itself was good from cinematography, editing, VFX, plot, and acting. Everything was perfect. And it's enough for me to say that it really exceeded my expectations because of its wonderful and stunning filmography. It's incredibly amazing and well executed action movie! Exclamation point. Okay, so how many people found that helpful?
Yeah, so this is the Why No Realism review, right? And I'm gonna say, I mean, honestly, this review is weirdly the closest to narrating my own relationship with this movie. So I have to say I find it very helpful. I'm gonna give it a 163.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've only got 6 left. Let's see how confident you sound after this last review. Final review. I just want to start off and say, they almost had me. Up until I realized they were trying to be inclusive and woke by giving a woman the lead role and writing her role as the one in the village who wants to be a hunter/huntress instead of a gatherer. First of all, in ancient tribes, not all women in the village were medicine women and gatherers. I'm sure if you're a hunter, there's no gender assigned at that role. That's just what your purpose of the tribe is in the village. Second, people in the village were killed because Naru was stubborn and didn't honor her role. They wrote her character to make it seem like she wanted to defy the principles of the village to be a symbol that women are just as capable to hunt as a man. But this is so unrealistic and saturated with Western woke culture in the feminist movement. I can be in the role of a man, and even better. Not saying this has feminism written all over it, but it has that subtle nuance. The entire village could have very much avoided the sacrifices that were made had they not wrote Naru to be arrogant in her impulse to prove herself, that she can hunt too. And I want to give the benefit of the doubt by saying the skill and fearlessness she got out of nowhere was charged by her grief and rage for Tabi, her brother that was killed by the predator. But it's like we didn't just watch her fall from a tree and hesitate to kill a lion or fail miserably at hunting that bear. All of a sudden, she's got the grit and skill to kill the predator. Make it make sense. That's like the bird. Like, is this Ben Shapiro? Make it make sense.
That's literally Ben Shapiro shit. The way people think that your interaction with a single lion defines your entire life.
Yeah. Man. The way characters change in a movie infuriates me. Okay, so y'all just wanted, I love how he typed out y'all. Y'all just wanted a woman to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger's character of Predator, but it was rushed.
I wasn't going to listen. I was going to write this review, but I wasn't going to look up that his name was Dutch or
There was no build to her transformation. All of a sudden, she just went in beast mode. It makes her character fall flat and hard for me to connect with her character.
Listen, you don't have to connect with her character. You can just think she's really hot and cool.
Thirdly, the Predator. Most of the film spent most of its time using the invisible cloaking tech as slow burn building. It gets really old. We only get to see the face of the Predator briefly, which upset me because literally we have seen enough Predator movies where the Predator stalks his prey 50% of the movie under the cloaking device. Not great. Wish y'all also didn't change its face so much. The classic Predator face anatomy was perfect.
I mean, Art, if you listen back to the first episode of the pod, our number one pick was perfect face anatomy. Don't change a thing.
And didn't need an upgrade or downgrade, should I say. Maybe give benefit of the doubt and say the Predator evolved anatomically. But that'd be dumb because they had existed since the ancient Egyptian prophecies, parentheses, Alien v Predator reference. And they still looked badass. Y'all tried to slide your liberal woke undertones. I peeped it, and that's what gives this film 3 stars for me.
Man, that is the angriest 3-star review. I love this review. If this was a 0-star review or a 1-star review or whatever the low one is, I would be like, man, fuck this shit. But the fact that this person went through all of this only to come out with 3 stars. 3 stars is like a solid movie. Like,
yeah.
That's like a nice, this is the podcast where we
that's
have
a passing grade.
Movies. That's like, that is a definitive good time at the movies.
Yeah.
Well, and this to me is the Why No Gender Roles review.
All right. So you said, the only
good.
one left is 6 found this helpful. Do you want to revise that at all?
I feel good keeping the 6 with this one because this to me is obviously the worst review, mostly for its cowardice. Like, obviously everything it says is wrong, but the fact that you're spilling this amount of vitriol and then you're too afraid to give less than 3 stars to me, like, that is not a helpful review. Because that's a confusing review. It's like, wait, is it 3 stars or isn't it? So I will give it the 6.
All right, so viewers, think about your own ratings for these reviews. Which do you think 163 people found helpful? Which of these do you think 111 people found helpful? And which of these do you think 6 people found helpful? Devin, you ready for the reveal?
Yes, I am ready.
At number 1, that 163 people found helpful. That was the Why No Translating review, the first one.
Well, the person that was like upset about the lack of translating.
Yep, they gave it 1 star. So that was the most helpful review that we
That was
went
the
over.
most helpful review. Yeah. That the film gets 1 star.
Yeah.
For not translating the French people's dialogue, which is, I will say, as a fluent French speaker, I don't speak any French. Like, it was just fire on the page, the French dialogue. You're really missing out. All right.
So that was the most helpful. Are you ready for the second most helpful? The 111.
Mm-hmm.
Why no gender role?
God damn. I thought that was probably, once I thought because originally I was like, oh, the first one was going to be the I'm mad about woke shit review. Mm-hmm. And so when we got that last one, I had some hope, but I tried to put my faith in people and I was not rewarded.
Yeah, you will never be.
Man, I was way off because my most Why No Realism then, my most I thought my most helpful review. A scant 6 people.
6 people found that helpful.
Well, the people have spoken.
The people have spoken. That's Vox Populi. All right, so we've talked about this film. We've talked about how people have responded to it. Devin, our first episode on this podcast was about Predator, the original Predator film, 1987, I want to say. How does this compare to that? How does this relate to that film?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. There's a lot to break down with this, because there's sort of like, Dan came out there and he said this is going to be at least the second best Predator film. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to say it's the best.
Wow.
But it kind of depends, because it depends on what we think about as best, because like the original Predator gives us such an insight into the like logics of the Reagan 80s in a way that's really interesting, which is not like, it's not like that movie thinks it's doing that, Yeah,
I mean, the biggest difference for me is that in the original Predator film, at least as we watched it, you and I, we kind of wanted all the protagonists to die. They're not good people. Whereas this is like, oh, these are like indigenous people just living their lives that have to confront this like multiple menaces that have arrived like where they live, and so like it's a different film in that regard.
Yeah. And I don't want to give this film too much credit merely for representation, which is insufficient. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly, I don't know how much of a like active critique it has of settler colonialism or capitalism or what have you, outside of the fact that it's like offering us this sort of like feel good reconciliation of like, oh, here's a moment where like an indigenous woman, a native woman could do this spectacular thing, but like we all know where history's going. It's not like this is like an alternate universe. Like colonialism is going to win out. So we get to feel good, but it doesn't change history, So I don't want to like act like this is like revolutionary cinema or something.
Sure.
But I think what is interesting about it to me is thinking about the question of genre, as one of the reviews was also thinking about, It's like, it's interesting to me how in the original Predator, like we talked about this in our first episode, right? But you get that first shot of the ship and then you forget you're in a sci-fi movie for a really long time, because those dudes think they're in a war movie.
Yeah.
They think they're these righteous figures, and then it's like it takes them so fucking long to realize something's going right.
Most of them die by the time they figure it out.
Exactly. Whereas Naru, we also see the Predator ship very early in the film, and Naru's immediately like, well, that's not right. And is immediately like, no, like this, I'm really telling you something's going on here.
Yeah.
And I think that is interesting to me, because I think it's like the reason to me that the original Predator crew can't recognize that they're in this like sci-fi horror movie is because they are the invaders.
Right.
So they can't see themselves as the ones being invaded, right? So like in their perspective generically isn't a sci-fi one. Whereas the native perspective, this perspective of Naru, is able to recognize that very early. So I wonder what you think this does for like the Predator, like the actual creature of the Predator as like a metaphor, right? Because like in the original Predator, it's like the Predator himself is essentially like imperialism turning in on itself. It's like the heavily armed force from elsewhere coming in and destroying that the commandos happens to them, right?
Yeah.
So that same move doesn't happen in this movie. So I guess like what do we think of? What is the metaphor that the Predator is?
Yeah.
In this movie, because like to the extent that's happening, it's happening with like the French.
So I'll pause by saying, like, in the original Predator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger still wins in the end. Like the conclusion is not that imperialism loses; it's that like imperialism can even face this otherworldly challenge that is essentially imperialism, extraterrestrial imperialism, and it can still conquer that. So that's
Yeah.
that's an issue.
If you want to know more about this, read the U.S. Marine Corps' Small Wars Manual, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that is essentially the lesson of Predator is like, oh, we can also, in addition to doing like big war, we can do small war as well. We can
Yeah.
use guerrilla tactics, like in The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an inherently different film, whereas this film is like the native understanding of the land and understanding the landscape can actually afford you benefits against this extraterrestrial force that is coming in and trying to simply hunt you for the sake of hunting what it considers to be valuable prey. So I think it's an inherently different film with motivations that are like drastically different between the protagonists of the two films. So yeah.
And in that, it's like, the title change actually makes a lot of sense because it's not just like Predator 18 or Predator 5 or whatever Predator this will be. It actually is kind of shifting some of these logics of how Predator works, right? And I'm also interested in the way that the Predator in this movie, like a lot of his gear, like I've seen some write-ups that describe it as like quote unquote primitive versions of the gear from the later Predator movies. But to me, he like read very much like kind of like almost like Greco-Roman, like he has like this shield. He very much has like a sword. I don't know. Like he to me, he kind of reads as this very sort of like almost like antiquity, classical culture figure, like this, almost like 300-ish idea of like the tradition that like the Ben Shapiros of the world want to think they're inheriting,
Yeah.
And that was interesting to me as well.
Yeah. Maybe building off of that, it's interesting to me how I mentioned before the Comanche, Comanche. Is that how they? Is that what's the proper pronunciation?
It's too late for us to correct the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Just say what you think.
So to me, the Comanche, like their group that first encounters the Predator, actually do a pretty good job of doing some damage on it, and I think that's interesting. You can compare that with the French when they've had this whole ornate design of how they're going to kill this predator, which presumably they've encountered before.
Human sacrifice.
Absolutely, yeah. They've got the Comanche like tied up to a tree to be sacrifices to the predator, and all of the Frenchmen die. I think at the very least you can say like, well, the French and the Comanche, like they both had a more communal response. So, like, we're going to work together to try and solve this problem. The Comanche seem to be much more effective at trying to do that.
Yeah, it's almost as if the conflict between the French and the Comanche is sort of like, it's like if you had like a slice of ham and then like some cheese, like right up against each other. But then that conflict itself gets completely encompassed by like a chicken breast. It's like this real like chicken cordon bleu situation. That God, we're starting a beef with the French for no reason.
I'm here for it.
For no reason. I mean, they really are. Like, I feel like Italians get a lot of flack on the internet, and as an Italian American, I feel like we should start, making fun of the French a little more often. I guess the French don't have the like erroneously claiming to be people of color thing in their favor as much as the Italians do. But so speaking of cultural differences, Ethan, you were saying that you watched both versions of this film and that there were some differences. So I'm curious to hear, because I saw the English version.
Yeah. I started by watching the Comanche version, my first watch, and like 8 minutes in, I realized, oh, this is just an overdub. They're speaking English but overdubbing in Comanche. So I stopped doing that, and I just watched the English dub, the original like spoken English version for my first watch. Then my second watch, I watched the Comanche dub. And it was interesting to me because once you get over the fact that like it is a dub, they're doing their best. There are some differences. Like for instance, there's that classic line of "If it bleeds, we can kill it." In the Comanche dub, the dub that comes up in English from what he says in Comanche is like, "If it bleeds, we will kill it." So, like,
interesting.
Yeah, there are like various differences in like what is actually said or how it is. I mean, I don't speak Comanche, so I can't say, but like what is displayed in the
at least
how
it's
dubs,
presented to a non-Comanche speaking viewer.
Yeah. The other thing I love is when I watch the original version, a lot of the French is translated. I know you might say there's some French that is not, but like some of the various, like when they're captured and it's like the French are saying this and that, like it translated to me when I had the dubs on at the bottom.
Yeah.
But in the Comanche version, like none of it is translated. It's literally just French. You have no idea what is being said. And to me, it was a much better version because on one aspect, you have this alien presence of the predator that is just murdering shit and doing what it's doing. But on the other hand, you have the French who are also like, you don't understand what the fuck they're saying or what their intentions are, because besides that one dude,
time they're dealing with the French.
yeah, besides the one dude who can speak Comanche, like it's all just in French, and you have no idea what the fuck are they. What is their deal? What are they doing here? They are also an alien presence in this film. Yeah. And to me, it like drove that home in a way that when I watched it originally the first time, like, oh, they're at the French camp and the French are doing this and that. Oh, they're going to be the bait. And when you watch the Comanche version, you have no idea what the French are, because I don't speak French. You have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
And neither do any of the listeners.
Yeah.
You speak French, you're wrong.
But I think like I understood it better watching the original version, because they dub over, like, am I wrong? They dub over a lot of the French in the original version, right?
I torrented it, so I don't know if my experience is accurate to what a Hulu.
So I will say, like, having watched the Hulu version, they translate the French in the dubs at the bottom when you're watching the original version. When you watch the Comanche version, none of the French is translated. None of it. Not a single fucking word. And that to me like drives home this equivalency of like, oh, the French being this foreign invading force versus the Predator being this random fucking invading force that's trying to kill them for no particular reason, in a way that you don't get from the normal dub if you watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, and if we think about the Predator's body count in this film, it's like one snake, one wolf,
yeah,
one bear, and then like a bunch of French dudes, and then like a bunch of Comanche. But overall, like killing those French dudes is a plus. So like I think he's at least coming out with like a his karma points are sort of at like close to zero, whereas the image of the buffalo is the most horrifying image of the film.
And so like this is one image when you first see like the Naruk like walks out onto this field and you see just dozens of buffalo that have been skinned, and the assumption is that this is the Predator that did this, because it's horrifying and it's graphic that you have all these buffalo that have been skinned, all their meat is still on their bones, but the hide has been skinned. You think, wow, this is a terrifying presence that we're dealing with. And then you later find out, oh, that's literally just the French skinning dozens of buffalo to take their skin.
Yeah, I think that's the film's strongest like anti-colonial critique it makes is through that image. And I love that it makes it through an image and it doesn't make it through like didactic dialogue or like having a character be like, don't you understand that what the French are doing is wrong or something? Like it just like that image speaks for itself, and it speaks to like the transformation of the climate of the continent, the transformation of like the biomass of the climate. Like, I feel like, the Predator, like he would have gotten bored eventually.
Yeah.
But
there's a systematic nature of what the French are doing, both in the terms of them slaughtering dozens of buffalo, which you can't even imagine the Predator doing, but then also in the way they try to stop the Predator by setting up that bait and then like having this huge arena where they're trying to kill the Predator. Like there's this systematic nature of it where you're like, wow, the French are actually worse than the Predator in this regard.
Yeah, and what's important to remember, listeners, is that it's only the French who did this.
Yeah, let's not forget.
So, Ethan, I'm wondering what you think about this because, like, I had such a good time watching Prey, a surprising good time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not used to over the last however many years it's been, really since like the MCU era has started or really gained full dominance. Like, I'm not used to seeing a blockbuster type movie and just having a good time. And we are the podcast about having a good time at the movies.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like it's like, people will sometimes ask me, like, why are you so down on movie X, movie Y? It's like, I'm not asking this to be like fucking 8.5 or something. I just want it to like be, like I just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I want to watch 2.5 hours of like Thor having to like gather the crystals to make the axe thing that he needs, that like Peter Dinklage is going to make him or whatever the fuck, And I feel like within the last year or so, I have had a really good time at the movies watching some blockbusters, watching watching the latest Matrix movie, Matrix Resurrection. I love, which like we haven't done an episode on, and then also Dune, which we did maybe our most popular episode on. Like, it felt like
quantitatively, yes.
Yeah. When I was watching Dune, I was like in the theater, like, oh, this is what it's like to watch a blockbuster in the theater that is not a fucking like MCU film. My question is like, is there like a renaissance of the blockbuster happening, or is this a weird exception based on like the pandemic conditions and how it affects theaters and stuff, where they're like willing to make like a lower budget movie like Prey for streaming that they wouldn't make for like theatrical release?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of talk now since Prey is apparently the biggest release on Hulu ever, that, should they have released this in theaters? And they clearly made a decision not to do that. They made a clear decision that we're going to release this solely on Hulu. To me, it kind of recognizes this reality that like these sort of films that can find this niche that you and I like, that maybe have a wider audience, as you're finding with Prey, maybe don't. They're never going to get picked up by studios because there isn't this juggernaut behind them. This is like, well, here's the franchise, here's the thing, and now this is the reason why we're going to release it in theaters. And listen, when it does bad, then we're going to take this film, we're going to re-release it in the theaters, and we think it's going to do better the second time, but then, oh wait, it was a meme, so no one actually watches it the second time, so it also does bad. So there's this algorithm that is happening in studios where they think that they can game the system of like what is released online, what is released in theaters. They clearly don't have a great idea of this. I don't want to say that like people in general have a better grasp of this than movie studios, but this to me seems like one where if they would have released it in theaters, it probably would have done, like, it would have recouped its costs at least.
Yeah.
To me, it is more indicative of the fact that everything is sort of fucked, that we have this this world of like, is it going to release on Hulu Prime? Is this going to be a Disney Plus exclusive? Is this in theaters? Is this in theaters for 2 or 3 weeks? How quickly does this go from theaters to Disney Plus? Does it release on Disney Plus only, or does it release on Disney Plus and also Hulu? Like, to me, it's like indicative of like, oh, everything is fucked. It's this cacophony of like all these platforms, of which many people own 1 or 2, and some people see things in theaters and some don't. And everything is fucked, and we're all gonna die, and that to me is what this is indicative of.
I just want to say, because like when you started saying like, oh, this film would have recouped its costs, right?
Yeah.
I like tried to pull up the Wikipedia, because usually Wikipedia has the budget, you know, on the bottom, and it wasn't there. So I Googled Prey budget, and the first result is an article from Forbes.
Great, my favorite magazine.
That is titled "Why Prey Likely Would Have Struggled in Theaters," and that is all I need to see.
Yeah, it would have blown it away
to know that they should have released it in theaters. Like, you know, and it's like,
that man could have been a Republican president back in the day. Anyway,
well, and I get it's like theaters have gotten really expensive. Buying a movie ticket is now like, you know, it's approaching $20, you know.
Yeah.
But like what I want from a night at the movies is I want to go in, I want to get out in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
I want to have a good
This film was less than 3 hours long. Like that is a triumph.
It is exactly 100 minutes.
Wow.
It is like, you know,
less than 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's
when was the last time we watched a film less than 2 hours long that was released after the year 2000?
See, that I don't know, but I know we haven't watched a film after the year 2000 that I didn't black out during part of it.
Okay.
So like,
there you go.
I think it's doing pretty well. Like, it's like, you know, it's not that hard. People want to have a good time at the movies. There are entire podcasts like ours devoted to having a good time.
I don't know anything about that, but okay.
Yeah, you know, that's our second season mantra.
Let's have a good time.
Let's have a good time at the movies.
Yeah.
So we've had a good time at the movies. We've talked about Prey. It's time to dole out the. I know the longtime listeners are going to say Shia LaBeouf's, but we're changing it up. It's a new season. It's season 2, and we are now going to be rating films in terms of Walton Goggins.
Yeah. Famous. He's famous for being in that one Predator film that isn't this one. So that's why it makes sense for us to do this.
You may know him from Righteous Gemstones. You may know him from Justified. One of our favorite actors, I think. I think we could say
I've never heard of him or either of those properties, but that sounds like a thing that people would agree with.
Yeah. Well, at least 50% of this podcast, huge Walton Goggins fan. Mm-hmm. So, Ethan, Prey. How many Walton Goggins is?
Yeah, so I'm a huge Righteous Gemstones fan. I'm a huge fan of most of Walton Goggins' properties. And so I think if we're looking at like the bottom of the barrel, Walton Goggins, it's like, I don't know, Tomb Raider in 2018 or like Predators. I'd say that this probably out of, let's say 8 Walton Goggins, let's give it I'm going to give it a 5.5.
That's a solid.
I mean, we're talking a solid, like that's a passing grade. That's a 69%. Nice. So I'm going to give it a solid 5.5 out of 8. Like I enjoyed it. I had a good time. And I told you, I watched the English version and then I watched the Comanche version. And I thought they were both like enjoyable enough to watch it the entire way through. So I'm giving it a solid like C grade. Certainly better than most things not Walton Goggins related that I've seen recently. What about you, Devin? What would you rate this in terms of Walton Goggins?
I think you're way too low on this film, I gotta say. Like,
okay. Is how much of this is because of the dog?
You're anticipating exactly where I'm going. I was saying things this film is doing well.
Yeah.
Number one, just great acting all around. Number two, I think this film has an argument for the greatest dog performance in the history of film.
Excuse me?
Yeah. You're talking about, okay, who are the greatest dog performances? In terms of a villain role, I think The Thing, clearly.
Okay, fair.
Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, Air Bud, obvious picks.
Yeah.
You know, picks that are really centering the dogs.
Yeah.
You know, underrated comedic role for a dog, Milo in The Mask, starring Jim Carrey. But one of the greatest dog performances of all time.
Okay.
Right? Great acting.
Untrained dog. The dog was like supposed to be a lower. The dog was supposed to be less of a part of the film, and the dog was so fucking good. They're like, let's have the dog be a main cast character.
Yeah. Amber
great
Thunder is great.
Yeah.
Right? It's a competent film. The kills are good. Like if you're just like into it for the horror action shit, the kills are good.
Yeah.
The strategy is inventive, right? Like I really liked it. So if I'm rating this in terms of Walton Goggins, I'm going for his role in The Bourne Identity as research tech number one.
Wow.
So this is a film that it didn't overreach, but it knew what it was doing. It did its research. It executed in a technical level its action scenes and its special effects, and it was number one for what it was trying to do. So Bourne Identity, Walton Goggins, research tech number one, the highest possible Walton Goggins recommendation for Prey.
Absolutely fair. And so that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of Prey. Episode 1 of season 2, or what are we calling it? Season 2 or chapter 2 or
season 2, episode 1. But we're happy that you are still with us a second season in. We're really excited for what we have coming this season. But if there's something you'd like us to talk about, shoot us a DM on Twitter at YourTallPod, your with an E. Or,
we will do it. We will do it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. And keep having a good time at the movies.